Hey guys, this week on the podcast, we announce our giveaway winners and we discuss exactly what to do when you find yourself in the middle of a California cattle drive.
All while having a whole lot of fun.
Here we go.
Hey y'all, welcome back to As Goode as It Gets, the podcast.
I'm Cris.
And I'm Mikey.
And this is a weekly virtual chat from our camper kitchen.
Hello and welcome from Arizona again.
Yes. So I think we haven't even left Arizona on the channel yet on the regular Tuesday, Thursdays
Can't remember. Yeah, on the channel we haven't left Arizona, but we're headed to California. But we just got back from California and we're back in Arizona.
We have no idea where we are or what time it is, especially.
Oh my gosh, no. Oh yeah. I called my mom the other night and it was where we were at. It was 7 o'clock and I was just calling to tell my mom about all the cool things we've seen, all the cool places we've been. And she says, Michael, are you all right? I said, well, yeah, I'm fine. She goes, it's 10 o'clock. Only people with emergencies call it 10 o'clock. She thought something was wrong. So, a little bit of a time zone difference there. Sorry, Mom.
Yes. So we just got back into Arizona. We've had a long haul drive today.
Literally pulled in, made one Walmart trip because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
And then came back in and plugged in the microphones to talk to y'all.
But, and part of the reason we were waiting until after our Walmart trip was we needed for the clock to run out so that we could announce our giveaway winners in this episode.
That's right. 3. We have never done 3 giveaways at the same time.
No, it was a lot of fun, and I will say though, from a housekeeping standpoint, I didn't really think through the timeline of when we would need to get this podcast out and when we would need to announce the winners. That timing was all wrong.
Right. So it's late on a Friday night. We just picked the winners, and then we got to put this thing together and put it out. So thanks a lot, guys.
So, but without further ado, we have already contacted all 3 of our winners, and by the time this is live, we will probably have heard back from each of them. But we thought we would go ahead and share with the entire Crock Posse and all of our listeners and watchers, viewers. I don't know. It's late.
Watchers.
Give me a break. So we'll start with YouTube. Our YouTube winner. So just to recap, we are giving away
your choice of either the Crock-Pot Express electric pressure cooker system or
Mikey's favorite Ninja multi-cooker.
That's right.
And so we're doing that on YouTube, in the Facebook group, and then also on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so from YouTube, the winner is Angie Collins.
Congratulations.
Angie, we've already reached out to you. You're probably, by the time, like I said, by the time this is live, you've probably already got back with us. But let's all give Angie a big congrats for her prize.
Maybe I'll add a little applause right here.
Yes. And then from Instagram,
Sensei Kevin 2000. Master Sensei Ken. Well, I don't know if you're a master. Maybe are you black belt? You're something. You're awesome, Kevin. How about that? But Sensei Kevin 2000 on Instagram. He has also won his choice of either the Crock-Pot or the Ninja. I wonder if he'll do the Ninja because he's a sensei. That would be so cool, Kevin. No pressure.
Wait
no
a minute.
Pressure.
You're going towards your dad joke already.
Oh, sorry.
So hang on there for a second. Okay. Alrighty, and our third winner is from the As Good As It Gets recipes that Goodness Gracious Crock Posse group. We kind of just name it all kinds of things. And in our Facebook group, Miss Lori Stevens, we have reached out to you. We've also sent you a Facebook message to let you know that you are the winner from the Facebook group.
Yep.
So our winners will be getting back with us, and we will be shipping those out just as soon as we hear from you guys. And congrats to everybody. And as a Crock Posse, let's congratulate.
Let's congrat them all.
Let's congrat them all. Both Lori, Kevin, Aaron and Angie.
And then we also, like, as we're doing our RV travels, if we find ourselves in your neck of the woods, you have to cook us dinner.
But speaking of our RV travels, if you guys would leave comments down below on this video, we would love to send out some postcards. So we randomly choose about 5 people.
We've been contacting people and getting addresses from folks, and we finally got time to sit down, and boy, oh boy, you should have seen the mailman when I walked in.
Yeah, we're like, here, we've got cards from all over.
It was a pile, let me tell you.
Yep. So definitely leave a comment down below on YouTube, and we will randomly pick 5 folks to send some postcards from our travels.
Yes. Or if you just want to comment and say, hey, where should we go next?
Oh.
Yeah, because we're going to keep doing this. We bought this RV. We're going to use it. Right now, we're on the west side of the world.
Yeah.
But you never know where we're going to go. You never know where we're going to be.
What we're going to do.
You never know what we're going to do. Oh, that's right. That was our little thing from the... Did y'all see the trailer? Did you like the new trailer that we did? It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work to do that. We had to go everywhere for that one. But that was a lot of fun. So we'll leave a link to that down below in case y'all haven't seen it. Laugh often. Let's talk about the laughed often.
The laugh
often.
Well, we start each laugh often with your bad dad joke. So what do you got for us this week?
Would you believe I don't have one?
That can't be possible.
I'm trying to think of one. I think it's because we're so tired.
Oh.
Because one of us drove all day to get where we're at.
Uh-huh. And the other one of us did what? Just twiddled her thumb.
Telling me where to stop and get gas at the wrong place. Oh, we'll talk about that too. Well, first off, however many y'all live in California, you know the struggle about gas anyway, because holy moly, it is expensive. And then the further you get into California where there ain't so much, like in the middle of the Mojave Desert where there is one gas station within 50 miles of nothing, and it was $5 a gallon. We got into Arizona, it was like $2.79, $2.80.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'd have just waited 50 miles, I might have been running on fumes, or you might have been pushing, but we definitely would have more money.
Well, while you are looking up your bad dad joke
you do
notes,
that. You tell them about.
We're gonna talk a little bit about how we found ourselves literally in the middle of a California cattle drive. So
that was something.
Yes. So our laugh often this week, we laughed quite a bit because we went to travel to the Sequoia National Forest, which
was an adventure in itself.
Oh, yes.
It was 4.5 hours to get from where we were camping to the General Sherman tree.
Okay, that was yes, and so that's what I'm explaining. Is we thought we were camping just by visually looking at a map. We thought we were camping near the national park, but we were actually like 4 hours away, given the mountain roads and how the map and all the twists and turns on the map. And so anyhow, we decided, first of all, we were totally surprised by how beautiful the national forest was, even the parts that we were in that did not have a lot of the big trees. Like, we couldn't find any place open that had the big trees. So but we loved the area. It was gorgeous. We had so much fun.
You could see Mount Whitney from the park, and from the state park, the forest, the national forest.
See, we don't know where we were.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we went and we very much enjoyed the national forest.
There's a mosquito. Yes. Sorry, we keep doing this. It's because there's a mosquito flying. Squirrel moment.
There was the national forest was great, but it didn't have the big trees, and we thought we were going to get to see the big trees, or it was closed where we could see some. So what we ended up doing was deciding, you know what, we're going to have a good old-fashioned road trip, and we are going to go to the national park. And that way we don't have to take the RV with us, because we had quite a frightening little trip from where we were to Bakersfield on the side of a mountain that was very scary.
Thank goodness we didn't take our RV to Bakersfield.
So we decided, you know what, we're in like some really roads we would not want to take the RV on. So there
were roads I didn't want to take us on, period.
So we decided we were going to just road trip it up to the national park, spend the day there, see all the things that there were to see there, and then come back all in one day, but just so that we could enjoy where we were, but also still get to see some of the things that we were hoping to get to see.
I wanted to see General Sherman. Everybody kept saying, you got to see the General Sherman. You got to get your picture and take text to the General Sherman.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the General Sherman was.
Yeah. And Addie had never seen the big trees either. So we really wanted to do that. So we got up really early on Easter morning and we decided to take a family trip to Sequoia National Park.
4.5 hours.
Yes.
One way.
Yes. And so we're driving. I had cooked all the night before so we could have all kinds of our road food and all that kind of stuff. So we were just going to really just try and enjoy the day. And so we were having such a good time. We were getting a little car sick winding around the mountains.
This way.
And, you know, it was a drive. But when we got... we were coming down a mountain, right?
We were coming down a mountain. We came around a corner, and there were these two kids, probably maybe early teens, on horses. I'm like, oh, well.
We thought they were horseback riding.
Yeah, but they were kind of in the road, but kind of not. But it was a...
This is all a recreational area, so it almost felt like they might have been...
But it was a state road, it wasn't a highway.
I think it was a highway.
It was a highway, but it wasn't a very well-traveled highway, I guess you'd say.
We passed a couple cars.
It was definitely well-traveled, but not by people.
So after we saw a couple of what turns out to be cowboys...
we saw the cows behind them.
There were cows, and
there was about 80 to 100 head of cattle in the middle of the road.
Coming at us, and we were like, okay, hang on a second. Like back in Indiana, if you were to see a couple cows like that, and even people on horses or on four-wheelers back in Indiana, it would be like, oh, the cows are out. And then we realized that it wasn't that the cows were out. They were out. We were one with the cows.
Yeah, we were just going the wrong way on a one-way of cows.
So we had a river of cows coming at us, and we were driving our little truck through, and very slowly, of course.
At one point, I just had to stop and let them by because they weren't moving. They weren't budging.
Yes, and he did, your bad dad joke, he did tell them to move. Yes, he did. He totally did that.
I did.
So anyhow, Octavius was going nuts because he thought he was going to protect us, I guess.
Yeah, there was the cows. He was being facetious with the cows, and I said, "Hey, it's time to get along, little doggy." And,
that's technically two bad jokes.
And then the cow, here comes the rest of the family. There were cowboys, there were cowgirls, there were little kids on horses.
And they were doing an Easter morning cattle drive is what it boils down to. And they stopped and said hello to us. And
good morning. Little kid said Happy Easter. It was awesome. Yeah. And they were just driving the cattle up the road.
Yeah.
And we drove down the road, and then they had gone a good mile before we got to them. Because for the next mile, you could see where the cows had been.
Yeah.
And I think I still might have some of that on my truck.
Well, and I will say, so we told you we would tell you what to do. And thankfully, I mean, I guess there wasn't a whole lot that you could have done other than what we did do. But, like, you know, just like any other time, if you find yourself in the middle of a sea of cows,
just stop,
let them pass, and they'll find their way around you. Because like if you were to have pushed on the gas, that would have freaked everybody out.
Yeah, don't use your horns or they may use theirs.
Yeah, so we just had
and they'll be sure and steer around you.
Oh my goodness. See, you've suddenly found the well of jokes.
I'm sorry, this story become an utter disaster.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's the real joke?
I don't know, I've milked this one for all I could.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so changing subjects completely now.
Yes.
What did Cinderella say when her photos didn't arrive?
What?
Someday my prince will come.
Oh my goodness.
Had nothing to do with cows.
And do you need to source this joke?
That again comes from Instagram. Dad Says Jokes. That's at Dad Says Jokes. It's my favorite place to go for bad dad jokes. And he has a plethora of them.
Thank you whoever, at Dad Says Jokes.
That's him.
My life just has never been the same, let me tell you.
He's got some good ones.
So,
anywho, let's move on to
alrighty.
Eating good food.
Eat good food. So this week up on the channel, we've got some yumminess. So we went to what you will be visiting on the channel this week. We went to Tombstone. So of course, we had to make a pizza because we love to play off of that.
And you know, I had nothing to do with the idea on that. That was her. I'm rubbing off.
Yeah. So we made our crustless pizza. We've made it on the channel before, but we made it again because it is a reader favorite.
It's good.
It is something that the whole family enjoys. So we just decided, hey, we'll do it again, and we have to do it in honor of our visit to Tombstone.
Yeah, she said, you want to make Tombstone, you'll make a crustless pizza for Tombstone? And I said, well, she goes, would you eat it? And I said, I'll be your Huckleberry. We love Tombstone. Tombstone was awesome. The town was cool. The gunfight at the OK Corral was awesome. The actors that did their thing there did such a good job. A lot of history behind it. A lot of history that you're not seeing in like the Kurt Russell Val Kilmer version of the movie. So we will
say about that, and I think I say it in the video, like we watched the video after we taped after we went and we visited and all that stuff. I will say a lot of the stuff that I didn't realize about it is subtly in the movie. And now that I have visited and kind of heard a little bit more on both sides of the story, now it kind of like really, I can watch that with a different lens.
Yeah.
And so it does it, but I feel like the movie that I watched and then my visit there were two totally different things.
Yeah. But
then after that, watching the movie again, I think I caught some more subtle things.
There's a lot more to the story, and if you go and actually experience the history behind it and then go back and watch the movie, I agree with you. Yeah. There's a lot of subtle things that are going on that it's like, oh,
that's what that meant, or oh, okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I thought that was really, really cool.
And when you see the video, you're going to be yelling at me because I was mispronouncing the last names of the folks. It's McLowry.
Oh.
Yeah, so
well, that's better than yelling at you about the rattlesnake.
That was a one-time thing.
Better be.
One time.
Better be.
Unless I see another one. And then the other one coming up this week is the...
I know what the food is. I'm trying to remember where we went.
Where did we go?
The pepper jack chicken.
The pepper jack chicken, that was our arrival into Joshua Tree.
So you guys do get to come to California this week.
Yes. Hey, yeah, there you go. Field trip. That was another good place. Yes. It was really cool to see the difference between the Sonoran Desert and the Mojave Desert. And
yes. And the food, the pepper jack chicken. This pepper jack chicken has a little of an odd ingredient in it, but I really am excited for you guys to check it out because it's something that I've made at home for years in the crock pot, in a skillet. I've made it multiple different ways, but this has been kind of just a staple dish that we've had, and it's really good even with that secret ingredient. So you guys will have to be looking out for that.
That'll be Thursday, by the way.
Yeah. But aside from that, another thing we've been working on in the kitchen that you'll see on the blog relatively soon is I've heard that a lot of you guys have been wanting some air fryer recipes, and I do believe that I may have perfected low carb fried chicken in the air fryer.
I grew up with my mama's fried chicken, which is pretty much everybody's fried chicken, where you dredge it in flour and you fry it. Or sometimes it's flour, sometimes it's flour and cornmeal, however y'all do it, and then you deep fry it. And so I'm one to judge based on having extremely good fried chicken. That's one thing my mother could do. My mom could cook anyway, but she could really do up some fried chicken.
Yeah.
And yours is good. Yours is Goode approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some tricks, and I think I've tried it. I've tried this recipe both in the skillet with oil and then also in the air fryer. I prefer it in the air fryer because, now, mind you, I'm using bacon grease with it. So let's not get too overly healthy here for folks. But You guys can use canola oil if you want instead in your air fryers, or you
use bacon grease.
But I do think there's a better flavor to it with the bacon grease.
Because again, say it with me. Everything's better with bacon.
But I will be sharing that sometime soon. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be on the calendar on the blog, but that is coming. And if you are not a low carb person, I will give you the substitute that you can use to do the same thing. I just really enjoy the mixture that we've created. So I think it can be replicated either way.
It was well done.
That's very, very good.
Which is how chicken should be cooked, by the way. Well done.
Well done. Yes.
All right.
We don't need no medium rare chicken around here.
No.
So now it's time for our quote of the day. I don't have my letterboard. Again, it has been a long day, and we really needed to, and if we had sat here and waited for me to like push all those letters in,
it would be 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. So, but we do have a lot of the quotes that we share on Instagram and Facebook. And so we already have this panel one. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put it up on the screen for you to see. And then if you're on the podcast, you were just going to hear it anyway. So we came across this quote by Tom Hiddleston.
Now, y'all know who Tom Hiddleston is? If you don't, come on. Seriously. He plays Loki in a little movie called The Avengers.
Yes.
And Thor Ragnarok. And Thor, The Dark World.
He might be a
fan. Infinity War.
Okay.
Sorry,
he does a really great job.
Tom Hiddleston is a good actor.
I came across this quote and I was like, this is a really powerful quote. And he said, "We all have 2 lives. The second one starts when we realize we only have one." And I think
that's deep.
That is deep. I shared it with Mike and I said, that just like sums up our whole last year of us just kind of making the decision to take a leap and decide that, like I've been teasing him, YOLO, you only live once. And so that's kind of what we've decided to do, that we want to make sure that we fill our days with the things that we want to experience. And it kind of goes back to that old saying that we also shared on the podcast a while back, of where we really realized that we wanted to start working to live and not living to work.
Yep.
And so now that looks different for every person. Totally different for every person.
Yeah, we're not saying that you got to quit your job, buy an RV, and travel. If you want to, let's hook up somewhere and have dinner. But it's when you realize that it's more than just your job, or it's more than just the basic things. The I don't know what the best way to say it. I think the American dream used to be have the house on the hill with the kids and the nice car and everything.
Sure.
But it's so much more than that.
Sure.
And
well, I heard somebody else talking about time recently, and talking about how time is, our most valuable resource, because you can replace a lot of things, but you can never replace time.
Mm-mm.
And so that means that if your passion is painting, then
break out a brush.
Find ways to be a painter as much as you can every day if possible, because you really only have one life to live. So man, go for it. Yeah. And so I think that we realized that with our daughter, I think most parents have that kind of realization, they're only going to be little so long and all that kind of thing. And so how do we make the most impactful time in her life, and how do we make sure that we selfishly enjoy that time with her too? Yeah. And so I think there's that, and I mean there's that with your marriage, there's that with just life in general, the things that you're passionate about. Make sure, we oftentimes talk about making sure there's more good than bad.
Oh yeah.
And so sometimes you got to do stuff you don't like to do. That's just life.
Work, mow the yard.
Yeah.
Dump the black tank in the RV. You don't. I don't wanna, but I gotta. Because if not, we're gonna find it one way or another. But beyond that, we're doing something now that, where we can make a living what we're doing. But at the same time, it's more than that. It really hit me whenever one of the YouTube channels that we follow talked about, we've only got, I think they said 7 more summers with our kids. And when you break it down like that, it's like, we don't have that much time. And I don't know if y'all noticed this or not. We kind of dig our kid, and she's a great kid. And so we want to spend as much time that we can, and not just to spend our time with her so we've got her as long as possible, but to give her a life and some experiences in life that she can look back and fondly remember. Oh man, I remember when my mom and dad used to take me out in the RV all year long, seems like, and really spent a lot of time teaching her. And
I remember when we went on that hike, or when I went on a walk on the beach, or with my mom, or those kinds of things. I think that making those memories has just become really important to us, over possessions and all that kind of thing. And I think that whatever it is that is your cup of tea is the thing to realize. It just don't wait on someday to do something.
No. Someday. I'm like,
he's tired.
I am. I'm exhausted. And I mean, personally, a thing for me is, when you realize that you can do a lot with your life.
Yeah. But
not just, it's not for me anymore. Again, I think I've said that before. It's not about me. It's not about us on here. But it's like, I want to do something to enrich somebody else's life.
Sure.
And again, that's why we go back to the laugh often, eat good food, and speak life, because I don't think anybody in this world doesn't want to laugh. So I want to give them something to laugh about, or laugh at a lot of times, but something to where it gives them a chuckle. Of course, nobody that I could think of that I've ever met doesn't like good food. So we give them an opportunity to eat good food, really good food. Right. And we've heard feedback from people that are like, oh my gosh, this has changed our menu. This has changed our family gathering, because we want to come together and eat this really good food. And it was a recipe that y'all had shared. And then, of course, speaking life into people is such a joy. I have an addiction to it. I got ribbed one time at with a group of friends saying, if there's ever going to be somebody that's going to have an encouragement ministry, it's going to be Mike. And it's because I like to text my friends. I like to send messages to folks and just say, you know what, you really did something awesome, or you're awesome. Because I know it feels good to hear it. So to be able to say it to somebody, have them hear it, hey, you sang really good at church on Sunday. You did a really good job.
Well, what's that saying? A candle loses nothing by
lighting another candle. Yeah, you're not going to lose anything. And I would say
you gain something, the room gets brighter. And so, did you see that?
Oh, did you see that little spark of wisdom come out?
But no, I do. I think it is as much for the person speaking life as it is to the person that it's being spoken into.
Yeah, it's. So. I know that it does something to somebody else when you speak life into them, but it's to me, it's. Oh, maybe it's because I'm tired. I don't know what the best words are. Therapeutic. To do. We were talking about this in our little production meeting yesterday about the podcast. And it brought back a memory about when I was working on the railroad, and I'd have a horrible day, and I'd start getting really mad because things weren't going my way, and I like things to go my way. Ask her. And so I've grown a lot, but boy, I could cuss up a storm, and I'd get mad, and I'd start pounding the desk and saying some things that you just don't say in front of your pastor, your kid, or anybody else. And then I'd stop and be like, man, this ain't working. And I'd lean over the cubicle and tell my coworker, who was also my cousin, who's also a really good friend of mine, and say something awesome about him and the way he's running his railroad and doing a good job. Or I'd pull somebody out on the radio and say something, something to them to encourage them. And I wasn't doing it just for them, but I did it for me to make me feel good, because I feel good telling somebody else something that's going to make them feel good. And you'd be surprised what that does, like you said, for you and the other person.
Right.
Try it. You've only got one life. Be nice. Speak life into somebody.
Yeah, and I think, when people talk about procrastination, most of the time they're talking about things that you don't want to do. So, like, I don't really especially like doing the dishes. I might procrastinate that. Or I've got some big task. Earlier this week, I had a whole big, long to-do list of stuff that just really had to get done for work. And so I sat there and I worked on it. I finally got it done, and I felt so much better because I had done it. But that's what we usually think about when we think about procrastinating things. But we procrastinate things that we really love in life too. Like, someday I'll make that phone call, or someday I will go on that walk with my loved one, or someday I'll take my kid to the movie, or just keep pushing it off because life just gets in the way. And I think trying to make those things things that you can possibly do now instead of always waiting to do is a very powerful thing.
I think one of the most powerful things was a quote from the great poet Garth Brooks. If tomorrow never comes. If you've never heard that song, give it a listen.
Yeah. So don't put off. We're just throwing all kinds of quotes at people today. But no, let's go back to our original one. We all have two lives. The second one starts when we realize we only have one. And I think that that's such a powerful thing, because I think it just kind of puts a little urgency in. Get out there, do the things that you love. And if there's something that, like, you literally keeping you from doing something that you love, find something else that you love to do. Totally. Like, for a great example for me is I love art. I absolutely love drawing and painting and all those kinds of things. And I've been thinking about that a lot as we've been driving around all over the nation. I haven't really had a lot of time to get out my pen and paper, but I have it in my nightstand, and I'm like, what am I waiting on? I need to get that back out, and I need to start doing that, because it brings me a lot of joy and a lot of peace. So, how about you?
I like peace and joy. Mine's still just music. And I need to do that more. I need to record more. Again, with the whole Wi-Fi situation, the lives sometime won't happen. I'm going to try and do one here in a couple weeks. I'm going to try to do something funky, weird, and maybe have y'all join in. Well, something, because I haven't done one. It's going to look weird if I do one. But mine is to record more worship music too, because I haven't done that in a while. So
awesome.
That's coming. It's part of this second life.
Here we go. Well, we thank you guys for joining us today, and big congrats to Angie, Kevin,
and Sensei Kevin,
and Lori. And so we just would love for you guys to join us in again next week, where we hope to laugh often,
eat good food,
and speak life. Bye, guys.
Bye. I think it's time to go to sleep now.
That's what you've been putting off.
Sleep? Yeah.